Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm going to be trying on the brand new Tom Ford Quad in Peach Glamour. I also picked up the other one in Olive Smoke, but I'll do a separate video on that. And I'm also going to be putting on a couple of new Dior products as well. I've already got my primer on, and for my foundation today I'm going to use the Tom Ford. This is the shade in Illuminate Soft Radiance. This is a beautiful foundation, and I hope that they don't get rid of this one because it's such a lovely foundation. Now, I've already tried this Tom Ford Quad in Peach Glamour and I think it's gorgeous. I haven't tried the one yet in Olive Smoke, but I have a feeling that I'm probably going to prefer the one in Peach Glamour. It's more, the other one looks really beautiful, but the one in Peach Glamour just looks perfect for me for my everyday makeup. And the other day when I used it, I also paired it with this foundation and the other products that I'm gonna put on today as well. But this foundation just looks really, really lovely. And I'll never run out of this foundation because I have so many in my collection because of this YouTube channel. But when I feel that it's no longer at its best and has expired, then I will pick up another bottle of this because I think this is really lovely. And it does go with my oily skin really well, probably better for the cooler months, fall, autumn, winter, spring. But I can wear it during the middle of the summer like it is here now in New Zealand. It's just that I have to just add a little bit more powder. The other thing with this foundation is that it goes on beautifully with the Beauty Blender and also with a brush as well. It's just that I quite like this time of the year when it's really warm, putting foundations on with a Beauty Blender. Now I could build this foundation up a little bit more if I wanted to, but this is a medium coverage and I quite like that. It just gives that natural type of finish, and when you use a Beauty Blender, foundations tend to sheer out a little bit more as well. Now for the concealer, I'm using, this is the fairly new, this is the Victoria Beckham, the concealer pen. This is a beautiful concealer. And now that I have it in the right shade, because the first one that I picked up, it was a little bit too dark, but the shade is just perfect and I just love it. I think this is a gorgeous concealer. It is perfect for those, especially with mature skin. And it's not a full coverage concealer, but I find that it doesn't crease during the day. And because it has those really beautiful skincare ingredients in it, and I find that with most concealers that I try that do have skincare ingredients in it, it just stays really flattering under my eyes all day. And I find that it looks just as good as when I first put it on. It looks just as good at the end of the day when I remove my makeup. So you can see that it's not a full coverage, but I think it still gives enough coverage, especially if you're looking for more of a natural look. And then like with all my other concealers, I just go over with my fingers and it just melds it into the skin with the warmth of your fingers, and I'll also powder over it as well. So I've now done my eyebrows, put eyeshadow primer on, and I've also powdered under my eyes, and I use the powder that was released last year from Tom Ford. That's the Architecture powder, and even though I don't think it's that great for my face with my oily skin because I have to repowder quite a lot when I use that, it is perfect for under the eyes. But for the powder for my face, I'm going to use the new, this is the Guerlain, this is the Diamond Micro Powder. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, Guerlain is notorious for having things that are heavily perfumed, and I quite like it, I don't mind it. But this powder, I would have to say, would be one of the most fragrance powders that I have. And I would say that it's even more fragrance probably than the La Prairie one that I own, which I absolutely love, and that is quite heavily fragranced. But with this one, I don't know whether it lingers very much once I put it on. But even with the brush that I use, now after I use my brushes, I don't necessarily wash them with any soap or liquid after I've used them, but I always wipe them down using Cinema Secrets. And even this brush here. And even when I've done that, the next day when I pick this up, I can still smell the powder on my brush. So just so you know, that the powder is absolutely beautiful, but it is heavily fragranced. And for the bronzer today, I'm going to use the YSL Bronzer. This is a really lovely bronzer, and I do use this one quite a lot. Again, I have quite a few bronzers in my collection, but this one is one that I do reach for. It's a matte bronzer, and I have this in the shade, I think it is 02, and I prefer the lighter shade just so I can have a subtle warmth, and I can build it up a little bit if I want to, but it blends out really beautifully. And if you prefer a matte bronzer, then I think you would really like this one. And of course, with the YSL, the packaging is really beautiful. So now let's get into this beautiful Tom Ford quad, the one in Peach Glamour. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is not in pristine condition because, as I was saying, I tried this out yesterday. I couldn't resist, and it is just beautiful. And yesterday I only used 3 of the shades, and I'll probably do that again today. But first of all, I'll just hold it up a bit closer so you can take a look at it, and then I'll do some swatches of it. So this quad is traditional powder formula. It's not the cream formula, and it's not the wet and dry formula either, but I just think it is gorgeous. So I'm swatching this from left to right, top to bottom, and you can see how beautifully that these do swatch. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So you say when I use this quad, I started off with the brown shade first, the matte shade, and that's what I'll do today because I really liked the finished look. And I just start off in the outer corner. Now this does pick up quite a bit of pigment. Even though I just went really lightly in, you do pick up quite a bit. So I'm just going to blend that out through the crease and up onto my brow bone as well. Now once I've blended this out a bit, I may have to pick up a little bit more, but just that little tap in does go a really long way. Now this powder formula is absolutely beautiful. You can see how easily that it's blending out. So I'm just going to tap in very lightly again and just concentrate more on the outer corner and a bit more just on the brow bone. I'm going to take the Sonia G, the pencil one. I'm going to stay with that shade, and I'm going to run a little bit of this on my lower lash line. And then next I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm going to put that over the rest of my lid. And I'm also going to put a little bit of that up through, just up through onto the brow bone as well, just through to the middle here. Then next I'm going to use one of the applicators that comes with the quad, and I'm going to go into this shade here and put some of that in the inner corner. Now I just want to deepen up the brown in the outer corner, so I've now switched to my Rapha number 13. And I'm just going to add a little bit more just in the outer corner, just to pack in a little bit more pigment. I could have done this from the very beginning, but especially with an eyeshadow where you pick up quite a bit of pigment, I'd rather go in lighter to begin with, and then I can always build it up like I am now. So now I'm just going to pop on some eyeliner and mascara. I'm going to use one of the Tom Ford eyeliners and then also my Chanel mascara. So here is the finished eye look. And I love this. I think it is gorgeous. This is definitely an everyday type of makeup look for me, and I'd also wear it in the evening as well, and probably add this one shade that I didn't use for the evening, probably that more bronzy shade. But the 3 shades that I used, I think are just beautiful, and it just goes on really lovely as well. Now for the blush today, I'm going to use a new shade in the Dior blush, and this is the one, number 831 in Peach Petal. It is really lovely. So this is Peach Petal, and this is in the satin formula. And here it is swatched. It's a very soft shade, but it looks beautiful on the cheeks. So I'm going to take my Chukahado brush and just pop some of this on. It's such a beautiful shade, and I think it looks really lovely with this eye look as well. So from the swatch, you think that it's quite soft, but it doesn't take much to build it up. It's really, really pretty. Really happy that I picked up that shade. I think it's beautiful. Now I'm going to put on one of the Dior Forever Glow Maximizers, and this is in the one Nude. I just love these. I think this would go beautiful underneath this blush as well, but I just wanted to show you what it was like on its own. So for the Glow Maximizer, I'm just going to put one more dot. I usually put about 3 little dots on my cheekbone and just blend that out. I also love this shade just by itself as a blush. Doesn't show a huge amount of pigment, but because these Glow Maximizers don't emphasize texture, then they work really beautifully just on their own as blushes as well. But I do love using them as a highlight, and I think that goes really beautifully with that blush. And then for lipstick, I'm going to use one of the new Dior Addict lip glows, and this is in the shade Tangerine, and then I'm going to pop over the top one of the I think this is limited edition, the new Dior lip maximizers, and this is in the one Peach Mania. Then I almost forgot to select a perfume for today, so I'm going to use the Dior one, and I'm going to use one of the new Dior. This is the fragrance sticks, and this is the one in Blooming Bouquet. And what I do with it is I just put it on my pulse points. This is also really good as well when you're out and about. Easy just to pop into your purse and just add some throughout the day. Of course, it doesn't have quite the throw that a normal spray perfume would, but you could also layer this with a perfume. But I just like it if I want just a subtle type of scent throughout the day. And then sometimes, probably later this afternoon, it's still morning here, but later on in the afternoon, I'll probably just pop a little bit more on as well. You could also put it on behind your ears as well. But I have that redness on my neck, so it pays to keep fragrance away from those areas, but I still enjoy putting it on my wrists as well. So here is the finished look, and altogether I think this looks really beautiful. I am so pleased with the formula of these Tom Ford quads in the powder. I think it is gorgeous. It just blends out so beautifully, and this color story is definitely for me one that I can use for my everyday makeup. I think it is gorgeous, and those of you that have seen my other videos, you know how much I do love a brown eyeshadow, and I just think this works beautifully. So as I was saying earlier, I haven't tried the Olive Smoke quad yet, and I'll probably do that after I've finished this video. So unfortunately I've got to wash all this off to do another video, but I'm sure that Olive Smoke's going to look really pretty as well. And I really love this blush as well. I love the shade. It swatches softer, but on the cheeks you can build it up really beautifully, and it doesn't take too much to build it up either. I think that it blends out really, really beautifully, and it's just a really lovely shade. And of course the Dior Forever, the Glow Maximizer in Nude, I think goes really well with this blush. And the new Dior lipsticks, I really like the new Dior Addict lip glows, and the new formula is really lovely, and this Tangerine shade I think is really pretty and also goes well with this Peach Mania lip maximizer as well. The Tom Ford foundation, the shade Illuminate, I think it gives such a beautiful finish to my skin, and it just looks good all day. I've worn this many times since I purchased this, and it always looks really good at the end of the day, just like when I've first put it on. Now this is a really beautiful foundation. It is more on the pricey side, but it is just beautiful. Now, people are probably going to ask me, do I like the Tom Ford shade Illuminate or the Tom Ford Architecture? Well, with my oily skin in the summer, the Architecture foundation is a soft matte. It's probably more suited, and I don't have to powder it as often, but the shade in Illuminate is really beautiful as well. So if you want a foundation that has a little bit more of a radiance in it, a little bit more of a glow, it's not an excessive glow, then I would say go with the shade and Illuminate, but both are just really, really beautiful. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.